Hello everybody, this is Gabby's Games, and welcome back to another Crossout developer blog review. And today we got the return of the Night Riders blog, and there's a lot of info to go into here. So let's go right into it. The Night Riders are returning, and they are going to show off all the new items that are going to be added right here in the list. And only a few actually have pictures, sadly, but I hope we will get pictures and leaks from the other ones soon as well. So first up is the light cabin Harpy. Um, Epic, 1800 power score, 100 kilometers an hour, so maximum speed just as any other cabin. Very light tonnage of only 4500, 8500 kilograms of weight limit. Produce energy of 12, 295 durability, and a mass of 1000 kilograms. And a unique perk, which is actually I think a really strong perk for crickets. Increase the amount of additional ammunition by 50%, so it is basically a 50% ammo box, and the radius of projectile explosions by additional 20%. So crickets, of course, they do more damage over longer ranges. So now you basically get a contender between the Torero, which gives it more accuracy, and the Harpy, which will give it a larger explosion and more ammunition between those two. And overall, they also are pretty effective with turret cannons because turret cannons already have a pretty large explosion radius, and now they become even more to really give them a gigantic explosion radius. But the weight for turret cannons are gonna be limiting factor in that aspect. Overall, that's a really strong perk. They really are starting to slowly but certainly make the perks stronger and stronger, and that's why I do hope that some of the perks of the old cabins will be revisited and be improved upon each for them separately. So the parts required for production, preliminary information, 650 scrap, 600 wires, 600 copper, 300 taters, and taters of course will be the premium currency that you'll have to grind for during the event. That will not be able to be bought on the market, so only if you grind for them. I do actually hope they will be sellable because that actually helps for the people that know that they cannot get these items, but they still want to get some extra money because the tailors generally are worth a lot when they were during the events that they were sellable. And at 250 plastics, two bat cabins, two Dunhorse engines, and two twin wheels. And then we got a medium cabin Photon 80 kilometers an hour. So that's the same, I think, as the Quantum, but might be even a bit slower. 12 energy as well. 5,000 tonnage, 1300 weight limit, 1500 power score, 335 points of durability, 2000 kilograms of mass. But a unique feature: all energy weapons do 135% more damage to their heated parts. So this is a cabin that will synergize only with energy weapons, and even then only with auroras or with incinerators or with mandrakes. So it's gonna be very specific cabin. But if there actually ends up being a build that is viable, that can use one of those weapons and then energy weapons, can get a 135% increase in damage. So that's actually a lot of percentage, but very narrow. And I do actually kind of expect people to like go for Helios hovers and then incinerators in Clamorous maybe, like, and that cabin because Helios already have a very high damage output and give them 100%, 135% more. They will absolutely shred, but again only for heated enemies. And then research and parts for production will be six. All these mentioned as before, but instead of the two bats, you got two pilgrims, and then two big G generators and two cooler stamiers. Then we got the heavy cabin Bastion. I like the name, by the way. 1500 power score, 60 kilometers an hour, 9000 tonnage, 20,000 weight limit, 11 energy, 495 durability, 4500 on the mass itself. That's a heavy, very heavy cabin. Ouch. Unique feature: the blade in front of the cabin has increased resistance to all types of damage except for energy damage. And here is going to be one of the pictures for people that are actually only listening, um, because that actually can happen with these videos. You gotta actually tune in right now to actually look at it. So here you can see how the cabin is basically put into the build, and I'm not sure whether no the other two pictures really show it, but here is going to be the cabin sticking out, and then a really big plow in front. And that big plow is going to have a lot of damage resistance, which is kinda interesting. But I don't think it's going to be a very strong cabin because, well, protecting your cabin isn't really the greatest thing, except if you can mount your weapons around this plow, and then an additional weapons behind the upper cabin area. Then maybe it would do something, but you cannot really build sideways with it, so I don't really see this cabin to be competitive at all. And then for the parts that's going to be used are going to be trucker cabins. Finally, some love for the trucker, even though it's indirectly. But finally, trucker has some use, although only to be consumed into crafting another cabin. Two lunar four wheels, so non-steering, I think. And then sledgehammer shotguns, a pair of those. New weapons and hardware. So, a while back, there was this little controversy in that there was semi-confirmation that the tackler would become craftable, but then the developers were like, no, we're not going to make it craftable. So they are adding a new frontal machine gun of epic rarity, the P29 Protector, to make up for this. 3 energy consumption as well, 185 durability, 170 on the mass. So let's quickly go to Crossout DB to check out the stats of the tackler to like compare it. And the tackler, it has 205 durability. So this one has 20 less durability, 180 mass versus 170. So this one is 10 kilograms lighter. And overall, the stats otherwise will probably be similar. Each hit on the enemy increases damage resistance of the protector by 2%. The effect lasts for 1 second and stacks up to 10 times, so it can be 20% more durable, which basically gives it the same health as the tackler while firing, but the tackler gets increased health while not firing. So, nah, it's probably just gonna be worse than the tackler, and that's really not the great to I think. And in terms of what parts they use, 2 defenders, 2 Genesis, and 2 steering chained wheels. And then we got the lightweight minigun MG14 Arbiter, which is literally just a legendary version of the Equalizer. Legendary, 3 energy points consumption as well. Let's just grab the Equalizer in the list as well. And check their health. So 123 on the Equalizer compared to 170 on the Arbiter. Arbiter has 260 kilograms of mass compared to the 216 kilograms of mass on the Equalizer. So it's heavier, more health, more power score, and it has pretty much the same perk. The longer the gun shoots, the higher the damage. In 10 seconds of continuous shooting, the damage increased by 150%. I think with the Equalizer, it is 100%, but I'm actually not sure because I have not used them in quite a long time. For this one to be produced, since this is legendary, all the previous mentioned parts are epic. The epic parts are all have the same crafting requirements, including the weapons, but the legendary parts will need 1350 units of scrap, 800 electronics, 1350 copper, 500 tailors, 800 batteries, and then this one will specifically require 2 equalizers, 2 Tormentor weapon boosters, and 1 Prometheus 5 plasma emitter. Then next is the plasma gun Pulsar, which is basically gonna be the upgraded Quasar. Really similar names, kind of confusing, but it's also legendary. 6 points of energy, used 16 ammo, 850 durability, 950 kilograms of mass. Let's grab the Quasar here. Again, let's do some stats comparison. 14 ammo. It's gonna be the same. 535, 850. So it's gonna have over 300 health extra. Mass from 792 to only 950. So it's actually gonna be way more efficient in terms of uh health to weight. And it's also gonna be really slow firing probably. But unique feature for every 100-meter passed by the projectile, the radius of its explosion increases by 0.25 meters. And this weapon, I think, is actually going to be pretty fun with that new cabin, the Harpy, uh, to give it even more blast radius. Because we do know that these do quite a lot of damage, but have a small blast radius. So if you can increase the blast radius significantly like that, you may have something. And then this one is going to, of course, need two quasars, two fused drones, and one owl drone. And then we got a very interesting part, the Rift 2M, which is a rare module, 185 power score, 15 durability, 35 grams of mass, needs 600 scrap, 300 copper, 150 tailors, 3 aviator boosters, 2 WWT1 cabins, 2 power shotguns, and when activated, the squibs located in the module detonate, and all parts attached to the device are disengaged from the car, does not deal damage. So this will allow you to basically put all your explosive parts or whatever you wanna like be able to shed, put them on this part, and then on a click of a button, you shed parts. So uh, maybe some things for balancing weight. So let's say on a hover, you got some weight at some points, and then like some of the hovers get shot off. Then you shed the armor on that side to basically get upright again. Who knows? But I mainly see the applications with fusions because you know the ones that basically have a some kind of frame built to hold the part up, and then you have to like use explosive barrels or generators and then shoot a wasp or a pyre at the ground next to the generator to actually like decouple the frame part. And now you can do it with this part without sacrificing any energy. And that last part is going to be pretty important because the 2 to 4 energy needed from a wasp or a pyre basically was the main thing that prevented fusions from nearing anything uh, competitive wise. If you can make a really quick connecting part using contacts and these parts, you can maybe have like auto charging tsunami pods on a build or whatever else you want to really add. You can actually make some interesting stuff. Of course, the next day will bring back all the good paint, decor, and other parts. So also the gun mount wheels, the Spike 1 crossbow, the Corvo revolver, and the Contact 2M will also be available for crafting again. And you get a special workbench that will use tailors as other resources mentioned. And these will be in a special mission. And okay, here it says a non-tradable research, which is kind of a sad thing. Again, like a lot of the players during the earlier events when they were tradable, basically just grinded tailors and sold them, and it would give all the rich players new toys basically, while all the poor players they would get richer off the rich people buying tailors in en masse. And there was actually wonderful cooperation between like the low budget players and the high budget players, because right now this event, if you are not ready to craft one of these epics or legendaries, you can just fully disregard this event as useless pretty much, unless you want to get yourself your hands on some Rift 2 M's, which still are kind of expensive because 300 copper, 600 scrap metal, and 150 tailors is still a considerable amount, and that's kind of a bummer. But they are adding craftability to the following parts. Helios plasma emitter, Nidhogg shotgun, and Oculus 6 cloak detector. And that means that if you did not sell any of those already, if you have them in your inventory, they are gonna lower in value. They will continue to lower in value, so you probably want to sell them now and then rebuy them later once they have dropped further than like that you can actually make a small profit of that. If you like want to sell them, and otherwise you just really have to take the loss. And the arrival of the Night Riders is expected in early April. So that is still 2 weeks out, pretty much. So taking that normally patches arrive on Thursdays. Um, so next week is gonna be the Thursday the 28th, and then after that is gonna be April the 5th. So I got a really strong suspicion that on April the 5th is when the event will start because the patches are pretty much always on a Thursday. And so that said, again, look over, check out the news page, and go check the exact requirements, if or just go back to the part of of my video when I mentioned the part that you want to get, and go grind all the parts except for the tailors, because as soon as the event starts, everybody will be grinding tailors, and and if you have not gotten enough scrap metal will rise huge, like a pretty immense amount in price during this event. So even if you don't really want to do this event, do stock up on scrap metal right now. Just save it up. Don't spend it. Don't sell it. Just wait a little bit. The price will go up considerably during this event, and then you can make some more money than you can normally. Because these events are actually really good for the economy, because limited availability of parts really drives up the price of everything else, which is pretty nice. Also, if we look at these pictures, we see do some possibly new stuff like this flagpole post. That seems to be kind of new. You can see the paints, by the way. So the white with the crosses, the blue with the pike mark, and here you see some red stuff. Don't really, I can't really see it clearly, but that's actually probably a sticker. And that's really all you can see on these pictures, sadly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. All very exciting stuff. Um, of course, they're all pretty high tier stuff. I understand that all the lower tier players will not be able to get all of this stuff, but there are definitely very interesting, especially like the Photon. I'm gonna try to make the Photon work at my best, and yeah, I really want to hear from you guys. What are you guys most anticipated parts among these? And yeah, I will see you guys all when we have more news. See ya guys then. Bye.